Hello everyone, Mobile Philosopher here once again, and in this video we're going to see how to create and manage labels in Gmail. The first thing we need to see is where can we create them. You have two options here. One is in the left hand side where it says More and it says Manage and Create New Label, and the other is to go into the same area but by means of Settings, and Labels. Now, obviously, of these two options, the faster one is going to be this one, so we'll focus on doing it from the left-hand column. So we're going to go into More, and we have two options here. Like I said, Manage Labels, Create. We're going to click on Manage Labels. That brings us to this part here. And from what we can see, we have a certain amount of options here. All of these, as we said, are called labels, but basically they're just glorified folders, if you want to call them as such. Of the ones that are from Gmail themselves, they have Inbox, Starred, Important, Chats, Sent Mail, Drafts, All Mail, Spam, and Trash. Circles, which is a new type of label, it's not being used very much yet, but hopefully in the future it'll be more integrated with other things. And in the bottom we have labels, which would be the optional labels which you can create, obviously by the point that says Create New Label. Before we do this, we're going to go back up and we're going to just see a couple things and how this works. We have what's called here Show and Label List, and on the side here, if I go over here and press Hide, those go below. If I click on Less, they will disappear. If I hide all of these, Chats, Sent Mail, all of these get hidden in the More section over here in this side. If I click on More, all of these that I've hid are down here. If I decide to bring them back, then all I do is click back on these and they appear once again on the left hand side. The other thing that's very nice about these is what says here. It says Show if unread. So as you can see, we have drafts here, but we're going to take it out. We're going to go back into the inbox here, zoom out, and we're going to compose something. I'm just going to put some letters down here. And we're going to click out, and as you can see over here, all of a sudden the drafts popped out and it gives me a number that's inside here. So this works out similar to all the other labels that we're going to create later on, but it's very nice because you can hide it until it's really needed. So let's get rid of that, come back here, get rid of that, and discard, and then it disappears once again. We're going to go back into Manage Labels, and we're going to leave this as Show. Then, down here we have Labels, and I can create a new label, a new optional label. Let's go into Create Label and just put Test for right now. And as we can see, it pops on here, and I have the same options. I have Show, Hide, Show if unread, and then here it says Show in Message List. We're going to see this later on, but this is basically, if we go into the inbox here, this is message list here, and they're going to pop out here, but we're going to see that a little later. Going back here, we have Actions, Remove, and Edit. So I can actually delete this, which would be Remove. Go over here and delete it, and it disappears. Or, putting it back, I can edit this down here and change it to a different name. For example, Test 1. So these types of things are feasible by just pressing the edit here and playing around with these here. Now, there is another thing I can do to change and edit these things, which is I can go over here to the left-hand side, and simply by hovering over this, all of a sudden pops out a little arrow here. And this arrow gives me a little few options. We're going to see this in a second. Here it says Show if unread. I can choose these options here, and as well I have Edit, or Delete, or add a sublabel, which we're going to see in a little bit. So I can also edit it from here and change this to Test again, and we'll change it from there. So I can either go into Manage Labels or just go directly to the label here on the side, click on this, and then edit it from here. Good. Now that we have this, we're going to do something else. We're going to go back here. Let's pretend that we're not. As we can see in Test here, we're going to have nothing. Go to More, Manage Labels, and here we're going to create another new label, and we're going to put this as Test 2, Great. And it's going to pop down here. But now what we're going to do is we're going to go over here and we're going to edit this. And we're going to nestle label under it, meaning we're going to create a subfolder. And we're going to put this under test. And I can save that. And when I do that, as you can see, there's an indentation expressed here, meaning that this is under this one as a subfolder or sublabel. And if I go over here to the left-hand side, I'm going to see a little arrow that appears now in this part stating that there's something else. So I can expand that, and will give me test 2. Test 2, again, has all the same options as it had before, but now it's just under this one. So I can actually do this a few times. Now, just to see how the difference is, let's go out of this. And we're going to more, and we're going to create a new label. And we're going to put test 3, and we're going to nestle that guy under test 2. Great. And in this one, we're going to go here. We're going to click on this and add a sublabel, and we're going to put test 4. Great. So as you can see, we can have quite a few sublabels here. They can keep on going down. So you can have quite a few folders, and you can make this very intricate to make sure that everything is well organized in the end. So now that we've seen about on how to make all these, let's start organizing our emails into these guys. So let's go back to inbox. And I have various options in order to play around with these labels. First of all, I can grab this guy. Oh, I'm sorry. We have to go back here. Rather, we have to go over here. You see this little hand that comes out? This has to present itself. If I just use the finger, it's going to open it up. But if I go here to the very edge of the email, this hand pops out. We're going to need that because we can actually graphically move this guy to a label as if I was moving it into a folder. So I can pop that guy in there. And it will disappear as if I had archived the email. I'm going to grab this one now and do the same thing and put it under test 2. I can pop those in there. Now, if I go into test here, I'm going to find that email here. If I go into test 2, I'm going to find that email. So they're very easy ways of doing this. Let's go back to the inbox. There's also another way of doing this where I can click on the email, and up top here I have these two options here. Now, they're almost the same, and I'm pretty sure in the future Gmail is going to delete one of these. Most likely this one because it looks like a folder, or they're going to transform the labels into folders. But either way, we can go here and click on label, and I can click on this from here, and it will add the label from there as well. Or I can go here and move it to the first one, and it will bring it back into here and put that other label on there as well. So there's different ways that you can do this, and as you can see, if I go through, I'm going to see various things here. So if I go into this one, I'm going to see that it says test and then test. These are two labels that I've stuck on this. So what we've seen here is that I can actually add more labels to the same email. So I can have this email present itself in various labels, and that's not a problem. In fact, if I go back here to test and select these guys, okay, I have under more here, I can see this says mark as unread, mark as important. I give these types of things, filter messages that we'll do later on. Or simply put, I can just grab these guys and bring them back to the inbox, which is what I wanted to do. As you can see, this actually sticks a label on here, and that's because all of these up here, even the inbox, are just simply labels. So if I go to the inbox, I'm going to see this is in test, and the other label, test, test, test. And this allows me to see exactly where these things are, no matter where I am. Now, the other thing that we could do here, now that we have these labels here, is we can go back into test, and I showed you that here we can change colors. So let's just change this now to blue. It'll say only label test or label test and its sublabels. We're just going to put only label test for right now. As you can see, this has now changed to blue. So we can do the same thing with this guy. We can go over here and change him, for example, to red. And it will change to, well, red or orange. This would be rather orange. So as we can see, these are blue and this is orange, and this allows me to color coordinate my labels to see exactly what's going on. So I can do the same thing here, whereas I can select this guy and go into the label and press this, and it will turn into blue as well because I have these three here. So let's get rid of these guys. I can select these guys here, archive them now, and when I go over here, I'm going to find them here in this section. As you can see over here, these actually have changed colors and they stay like this. This indicates that these have changed or been changed to different colors here, and that helps me to remember which colors they were when they enter my inbox. So as you can see, all of these types of things can be organized in that way. So I can grab 2 emails, go over here, put that there if I don't want to take them out of the inbox, or I can actually move them over there and they will be archived. Or simply put, I can grab 2 and take those and bring them down here by the hand that's on the side here and pop them into this one here, for example. And I can do that various times until my emails are all finished getting sorted out. So this is the main way of using labels. And what we're going to see in another video is how to filter these labels automatically so that when an email comes in, it automatically goes into these folders. We're going to save that for another email. Till then, this is the Mobile Philosopher. Thank you very much.